Hi everyone, we're going to start a app. So we're going to become app designers. I want you to imagine we have a blank canvas and we're deciding exactly where everything should go on our awesome StoryMaker app. Okay, so when you come here, you're going to code.org. You're going to log in. The way you would know is your name would be displayed up here. Then you're going to select right next to your name where it says new project with a plus sign. You're going to click the plus sign and you're going to select App Lab. Once you select App Lab, you will come to this screen here. Now this is the coding screen. We're not there just yet. We're going to go to design mode. So if you see code, design, and data, we're going to click the middle, design, and it's going to change here. Okay? I want to rename our project before we get started. So right now it's titled Untitled Project. We're going to select rename and we're going to then highlight the text, backspace, which means we're going to erase it, and we're going to name it My Fair StoryMaker. My Fair StoryMaker by, and then you're going to write your name just like this. So the way you would know it's safe is you're going to see your title change with your name on it. Okay. Now I want you to see the big picture of what our app screen looks like in design mode, because right now we're in designer mode. This is where we place all the buttons and boxes, just like rearranging furniture in the room. Okay. Each part of the app has a special job, so we're going to look at them one by one. First, this is titled Screen 1. I want to change it to our title. So if you look to the right, which is where our workspace is, it says ID Screen 1. I want you to highlight this and backspace it. You're going to title My Fair StoryMaker. Now, when it comes to the ID, you cannot make any spaces. So even if you try, for instance, I'm going to try right now, it's going to take me to the end. It's okay. We're going to just leave it as this. So now, as you can see, instead of saying Screen 1, it says My Fair StoryMaker. Now, I would like to place a label to the top of the screen, because this is technically the app. This is what you would look at if you're actually holding your phone. This is the designer box that we're going to be using, and our workspace to type what we need to type so it can get the right accuracy to look at when we're actually trying to run the coding in the app. Okay? We're going to select ABC label because I want to put a label on the top. I want to title this Pick a Story. Okay? And then the text, I don't want it to say text like it says here. I'm going to erase it, so I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to type Pick a Story Idea. Now, I want it in the middle, so I'm going to make sure that the little hand can grab it. I'm going to move it towards the middle of the screen so it can actually match. Okay, now we need to get a special drop-down menu. So it's supposed to be able to click on and it pops up with a list of different story ideas. We're going to select, or we're only going to type 3. So it's adventure, friendship, and mystery story. So on the drop-down, you're going to select drop-down and you're going to drop it right underneath the title. Just like this. And the ID, instead of saying drop-down 1, we're going to erase it and we're going to type theme with a capital D, drop-down. Now, here on our options, we have option 1 and 2. We're going to highlight and erase these. We're going to type only 3 options for now. We can change this later. So I'm going to write adventure. I'm going to press enter and then friendship, pressing enter again, and then mystery. We're all going to do the same for right now. We can always add later. So now that we have a label, we have options, we need a button that will help you pick a story idea. You click on this and then poof, the app starts making your story. So we're going to select button. Underneath button, I'm going to expand it so it can match adventure, which is my preference. And I'm going to erase where the ID is, and I'm going to title Generate Button. Okay? And on the text, I don't want it to say button. I want it to say make my story. An exclamation point. Okay? This is like go, and the magic starts to happen. Now, we need a large empty box in our app. So after we click make our story, all the words of the amazing new story will appear right like it's magic. So this is the stage where our story plays happens. So we're going to select ABC label. We're going to put it underneath. Okay, I'm going to erase the ID. I'm going to write story with a capital D display just for the ID. And on the text, I'm going to put the story here. Okay, I'm going to make this bigger. So you have to make sure it's highlighted to make it bigger. If not, it won't, it'll just move. If the little hand is on there, it'll just move. So I want to make sure that this screen has a good size to make it easier. And I like to match. So now this is my screen. For right now at least. You could always change it afterwards. Now for some, you might need to have a line to make a box, which is fine. You scroll down here on where the workspace is. And do you see where it says border width? Instead of saying 0, you just click the arrow up once. And after you click, there would be one small box to help you continue making your app. Okay? So now, if you read a story and you think, I wonder if this story is fair for everyone. Or, I have a super good idea to make it even better. You want to be able to have a button where you can push, right? So we're going to create a button that is titled, Is My Story Fair? This is what I call a bias check button. So I'm going to expand it, and then I'm going to make sure you're clicked on it. And do you see how it says ID button 2? We're going to erase, and we're going to write bias check button. The text, I don't want it to say button because you won't know or you won't remember what it says. I want it to ask a question and say, is my story fair? Okay. Now, I want to add a typing box where you can type your advice, suggestions for the app. For example, where you could type, add an animal friend, or she needs a hero. So we're going to go to text input, and we're going to put it underneath, is my story fair? And under the text, the ID, you're going to erase text input, and you're going to type in feedback input. On the placeholder, you want to type tell me how to make it better. So your audience know, or your classmates know, how to make this better. Okay? Now we need a button for this. So we're going to add a button where we can select, once we type the advice you give, the brilliant advice you give in the box, we want to be able to press the button to take us, or to give us the feedback, right? So here, we're going to create a button. I dragged it down, and instead of saying button 3 on the ID, we're going to erase it, and we're going to type in improve button. On the text, we're going to erase button, and instead, we're going to write give my advice. So you know once you put in your advice, you're able to click this button and we're done. Now, after you click on Give My Advice, a small message will pop up on the screen. I want us to be able to put like, thanks for your feedback or thanks for helping. So we're going to put down, thanks for your feedback. So we're going to have a label. We're going to click on label. We're going to drag it on the bottom. We're going to change it to improved story label on the ID section. And then on the text, we're going to write, thanks for your feedback. Oops, if I could spell for. Or, thanks for helping. I think thanks for helping is probably easier. Okay, now that we're done with this, your screen or your app should look like this in designer mode. So you should have a label, the options, the button to make the to choose the option to make your story, a story box. Okay, knowing if your story is fair, adding advice, typing and giving advice, and then letting them know. Okay.